For the past couple of days I've been playing around with flexible filament. Flexible filament is generally regarded to be one of the more trickier materials to work with, especially using stock printer hardware. With that in mind, I've recently spent a good bit of time in Prusa Slicer tweaking and trying to optimize my settings to get some really good results on the Prusa Mark III. So in this video I thought I'd talk to you about what you can realistically expect to print using flexible filament, and I'll also walk you through some of my tips for the slicer settings. The filament I've been experimenting with is PolyFlex TPU95. This was sent to me by Polymaker for me to test and use in some of my own projects. You can see immediately that this filament is very different to your typical rigid filament. The texture and feel kind of reminds me of those strawberry lace sweets you used to eat as a kid, although I definitely wouldn't recommend eating the filament. You can see that it stretches very easily, but it's also very difficult to break. Here are some test objects that I've been able to print on my stock Prusa Mark III. As you can see, all prints can be deformed, but they always return to their original shape. This is really cool, and it's got me thinking a lot about how I can use filament like this in more of my projects. From my experience so far, I'd say that this type of filament lends itself best to practical or mechanical applications. It isn't really intended to print intricate models that require features like supports and retraction. That's not to say it's impossible with something like a multi-material 3D printer, but with stock hardware you're definitely going to be quite limited. In fact, in order to print successfully with flexible filament, you actually have to turn off a lot of the settings that make your rigid 3D prints look very good. One of the parts I printed was this upper suspension arm from one of my recent 3D printed RC projects. It's really impressive how much this part can be twisted and flexed without it breaking or deforming permanently. So if you're working on a project that experiences high levels of vibration or stress, this material is something you might want to consider. So now let's talk about my slicer settings and what I recommend, at least as a starting point. Remember, all machines are different and you will have to tweak these settings slightly for your own machine. The first and probably most important tip is to reduce your print speed. I recommend printing at around 20 millimeters per second, or at least half of your regular print speed. You need to think of the filament as something quite delicate that you need to carefully guide down into the hot end. You want to do that slowly and gently. Yes, the print will take longer, but if the result is a better print, then obviously it's worth it. The next setting to consider is your first layer height. Again, going back to the previous point, you need to be gentle with the filament. You want to think of your first layer as you just placing the material carefully down onto the print surface. You don't want to squash it in too much because it can cause some back pressure issues in the hot end. My first layer height is set to 0.3 millimeters, but I also set my first layer width to 150%, which gives you a little more to play with. As for the temperature settings, I like to print this particular filament at 220 degrees, but obviously it depends on what filament you're using. I like to keep the heat bed at 60 degrees, but most flexible filaments don't require a heated bed at all. Cooling is also extremely important to achieve success with flexible filaments. Because of how stretchy and stringy the filament can be after leaving the hot end, you'll want to cool that down as fast as possible. I recommend leaving the fan speed at 100% for the entire print. As with any print, a skirt is always very useful to ensure that the filament is flowing properly before you actually begin your print. And that's no different here with flexible filament. The other really important tip is about retraction, and this can catch a lot of people out. Typically, whenever we experience a lot of stringing using rigid materials like PLA or PETG, the first thing we do to combat that is enable retraction. However, with flexible filament, that isn't going to work and it'll actually end up causing you more issues. Retraction rapidly pulls the filament up and down inside the extruder, and any kind of rapid movements pushing and pulling a flexible filament will ultimately stretch the filament out, and this can cause under and over extrusion in your 3D prints. So to achieve better results with flexible filament, you need to disable retraction in your slicer, and you want to try and focus more on optimizing the flow of the filament. Remember, you just want the filament to flow out of the nozzle as smoothly and as cleanly as possible. And this can be done by adjusting your nozzle temperature and your extrusion multiplier. I've set my extrusion multiplier to 1.15, which seems to work pretty well on my machine, and I also find that it tends to bind the layers together a lot better. Remember, this is optimized for my own machine, so these values are something you might have to play around with, but I recommend trying mine as a starting point and trying to improve it from there. The final thing worth mentioning is that the quality of your prints are ultimately a result of the quality of your filament. This also includes how you store and treat your filament. Materials like TPU or even polycarbon nylon are really known to absorb moisture very quickly. This means that if you leave the spool lying around in humid conditions, it's probably going to have a very short shelf life. To combat this, you can either build yourself a dry box, or you can store your spools vacuumed inside of their resealable bags. At least this way you can just cut off the amount of filament you need when you're going to print, and then store it back in its vacuum bag. That's it for this video. If you've got any other tips, let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.